Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that loves soaring with eagles. Or just sitting next to them. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Legendary, the new Mutants from Upper Deck. The New Mutants is the latest expansion to your Legendary Marvel deck building game, and it is, of course, from the great folks at Upper Deck. This game looks at these kooky new mutants, their new powers, you've got some kooky new villains, and all sorts of fun and fantastic stuff. Let's take a look. Now, first of all, there are a couple of new keywords in this set. The first keyword, of course, is moonlight and sunlight. Two keywords. Essentially, how this works is, depending on the time of day, whether there's moonlight or sunlight, certain of your characters are going to be affected, like, say, Sunspot or Wolfsbane. And how you know whether you're in sunlight or moonlight is by the number of cards you have in the HQ. Specifically, which cards have even numbered costs and which have odd numbered costs. So those cards, whichever is the majority, even or odd, is going to determine whether it's sunlight or moonlight. If it's a majority even, it's going to be sunlight. If it's majority odd, it will be moonlight. There's a few ways they tell you to know this. One of the ways they say is you can kind of pull the odd number cards kind of down lower so you can just kind of instantly see whether it is moonlight or sunlight. And that's going to be very important because it affects not only your heroes, but there will be certain villain cards that trigger off as that as well. The second keyword is Waking Nightmare. Now, essentially what happens is when you have a Waking Nightmare, you must discard one non-gray hero from your hand, and this allows you to draw another card from your deck. So you could possibly get rid of a good card here and draw a not-so-good one, or maybe it's the opposite. You get rid of a so-so card and you draw a really powerful one, or maybe it's sixes. Who knows? The new heroes in this deck are Karma, Mirage, Sunspot, Wolfsbane, and Warlock. Karma's most powerful card is Control Like a Puppet. She is a cost 8. Now, it's a 5+ attack, which is pretty cool on its own, but you also can trigger it if you played another X-Men card that round, and that trigger says choose a villain in the city. You get its plus attack equal to its victory point level. And this is usable only against other villains or the Mastermind. Mirage's most powerful card is Haunted by the Demon Bear. It's a cost 7 with an attack of +4 base, and whenever a card effect causes you to discard a card from your hand on this turn, you get a +2 attack. During Moonlight, you may have a Waking Nightmare. Sunspot's most powerful card is Imperial Force. It is a cost 8 with a base attack of 3+. You can choose any number of heroes in the HQ. You put them on the bottom of the hero deck. Now, during Sunlight, you get a +1 attack for each hero in the HQ with an even numbered cost. You've got Warlock, whose most powerful card is Nanite Shapeshifter. Nanite Shapeshifter is a +7 card. Now, it's got 0 recruit and 0 attack. However, during Sunlight, you can use this card to draw 3 cards, and during Moonlight, you get +3 recruit and +3 attack. If you have 4 other X-Men cards played, instead, you get both. And of course, there's Wolfbane's most powerful card, Nocturnal Savagery. Nocturnal Savagery is a cost 7 with a base of 4+ attack. It reads, look at the top 3 cards of your deck, discard any number of them, and put the rest back in any order. During Moonlight, you get the total printed attack from all of the cards you discarded from your deck that turn. You also have 2 new villain groups. You have the Hellions, and the Hellions villain group features all sorts of kooky, weird, wild Hellions. And you also have the Demons of Limbo. The Demons of Limbo also feature some weird, wild, wacky, crazy villains. You've got 2 new Masterminds, and each of these Masterminds comes with their regular side, and you flip it over for their epic side for an even harder challenge. Emma Frost has a cost of 8 to defeat. However, it goes up by +1 attack whenever you have any shield agents or shield officers that you play, or shield troopers that you play, and so it can add up fast if you've got a lot of those gray cards in your hand. You've got Belasco, the Demon Lord of Limbo. Belasco's got a base cost of 9+, and he gets plus attack equal to the number of non-gray heroes in the KO pile divided by the number of players. Now, they each, of course, have some mean Master Strikes as well. But, of course, you also get 4 new schemes for this set as well. You have Trapped in the Insane Asylum. Essentially, the setup is 1 twist plus 2 twists per player. When you get a twist, you face a sanity test. You either keep this twist in front of you as a psychotic break or discard a card and pass this twist to the player on your left, and that player faces a sanity test. Now, there are special rules. On each of your turns, before you play other cards from your hand, you must play 2 randomly selected cards from your hand for each psychotic break you have. Evil wins when a player has 3 psychotic breaks. You've got the Superhuman Baseball game. Now, this scheme has 9 twists. You add an extra villain group. The special rules are the bank and the streets don't exist. You put the villain deck in the HQ as a home plate. The sewers, rooftops, and bridge are first, second, and third base. Now, the twist, you play the top card of the villain deck. If it's a bystander, you rescue that cheering fan. If it's a master strike, then it resolves. Any villain on the third base steals home and escapes. If it's a villain, it hits a double, pushes to second base, the rooftops, and you play the top card from the villain deck. Evil wins when it has 4 runs. You have Crash the Moon into the Sun. This scheme has 11 twists. On twists 1, 3, 5, and 7, if it's Moonlight, you stack the twist next to the scheme as an altered orbit. If the twist is in Sunlight on 2, 4, 6, or 8, it has the same effect, and 9, 10, 11 has the same effect. Evil wins when there are 4 altered orbits. And finally, you have the Demon Bear Saga. Essentially, you have 8 twists, and you include the Demons of Limbo as one of the villain groups. You put the Demon Bear villain from that group next to the scheme. Now, during a twist, if the Demon Bear is in the city, it escapes. Otherwise, the Demon Bear enters the city from wherever it is, if it's next to the scheme or if it's in somebody's victory pile. If it wasn't a player's victory pile, that player rescues 4 bystanders. However, there are special rules. Whenever the Demon Bear escapes, you stack a twist next to the scheme as a Dream Horror. Evil wins when there are 3 Dream Horrors. So that reflects the basics of the set. There's a lot of nuance and stuff in these cards that I'm not really getting into and some of the other cards here. But basically, that is what you get with this set. The big thing here is the Moonlight Sunlight innovation. I wasn't quite sure how that was going to work out. I thought it was going to be a little too gimmicky. It works well, particularly the altered orbit, the Crash the Moon and the Sun scheme. That one's pretty intense because it means you got to buy. You're actually selectively buying your cards to make sure when the next scheme comes up, you're not in the wrong, light. You're not on the wrong either daylight or moonlight, and that's actually really cool. It's actually a lot of fun because it's another dimension to the game. The recruiting part is usually solely to create the conditions whereby you can defeat the villains in the mastermind. Here, it's a step in and of itself, and so it's really interesting, and I like that. The Waking Dream, the Waking Nightmare stuff is pretty interesting, although I had this killer hand. I had an absolutely killer hand that was probably, I don't know if it was going to win the game, but it was going to get me really close. And I had to do a Waking Dream, and the way it was with the Masterminds and with Emma Frost, she hits you for like multiple Waking Dreams sometimes, and I had to discard all of like the really good cards I had, and they were like 8 and 7 cards. So I mean, it was really, really interesting stuff there that happened, and I couldn't play it, and it made me mad. But I really liked that one. But all told, I think this is another pretty solid set. The only real criticism I have with the set is each of the heroes, they're all wearing the same X-Men costume. And so it's a little, I don't want to say, the art's good, the art's always very good, but it's a little samey, and it's kind of hard just to make that instant visual differentiation that you need. This guy. It's just a little, like I said, it looks a little samey. That's not a huge criticism, but it's just something you should know going into it. I like this set. I'd probably say it's a better than average set. I wouldn't put it in the top tier of sets. I wouldn't put it up there with some of the really good ones that I like Revelations is still probably the best one I played recently that I really, really liked. But it's far from the worst. Which is Champions. I didn't care much for Champions set at all. But I really like this one. I got no problem recommending it. So recommendation for the discriminating gamer for X-Men The New Mutants is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on thediscriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer. And I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of eagles, I don't know what it is, but sitting here, I've got a peaceful, easy feeling.
Somebody help me on my feet again, and I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
Oh, thank goodness, it's Zachman.
You better get back, Zachman, or this cowardly commentator will pay the ultimate price! $5!
get through it?
Yeah, I better.
$5. Why do I get? Okay. Alright. Oh, thank goodness.